Hello everyone, we've got a new exciting video on the movie Jolt for you today. Let's get this video started with a warning of spoilers. Jolt started with a brief voiceover that introduces us to Lindy, the protagonist. Reflecting on her childhood, the narrative depicts her struggling with anger management issues since she was a child, when she shoved a boy's face in a dish of birthday cake because he irritated her. The problem of hers is sufficient to turn her violent. Her life was riddled with loneliness and the fear of injuring others due to her drunken father and pill-addicted mother. She is blessed or cursed with near superhuman strength and lethal martial artistry whenever anyone, a sleazy crime boss, a torturous interrogator, a haughty waiter, anyone makes her upset as a result of a neurological illness known as intermittent explosive disorder. She was turned into a human lab rat due to her unusual condition, and experiments were conducted on her. Turning her over to the military or any other technique didn't work. In fact, it made her situation worse. However, she was able to control her rage thanks to groundbreaking but harsh treatment provided by psychiatrist Dr. Munchin, and that was by jolting herself with an experimental electrode gadget to calm down her volcanic wrath tantrums. Dr. Munchin's electrode-lined vest prevented her from erupting by pressing a button whenever her anger reached a peak. He informs her that if the shock therapy succeeds, she will be able to return to normalcy and even engage in social activities, such as blind dating. Lindy, now a bar announcer, follows Dr. Munchin's counsel and dates Justin, an accountant. Despite the fact that the date seems awkward, Justin comes off as a lovely and caring human being, the first person who hasn't offended her. Lindy goes on a second date with him, and they end up making love, with Lindy disclosing her illness to him. Lindy receives a phone call from the police alerting her of Justin's murder just as they're ready to have a dinner date at his apartment. Along with the dinner plans, her aspirations for a better life are dashed. Lindy now determines to exact vengeance on the culprits of Justin's murder on her own. Lindy deceives detectives Vickers and Nevin, the police assigned to Justin's case, and steals Justin's phone from the evidence room. Lindy is halted by the two officers before she kills anyone. The cops had different perspectives as well, with Vicker wanting to assist her by demanding an answer from her, and Nevin trying to arrest her. Lindy, on the other hand, manages to outpace them and escape. Lindy tracks Justin's phone with the help of a hacker. The call records lead Lindy to Justin's boss, an arms dealer named Barry Kaspersky. Lindy uses violence to compel Barry to reveal the killer's identity. Barry tells her about his boss, Gareth Faisal, a benevolent billionaire involved in shady dealings. Lindy seeks vengeance by breaking into Faisal's residence, Imperion Tower. However, Mr. Delacroix, Faisal's security chief, stands in her way. Lindy is knocked out by Delacroix and wakes up in a room bound to a chair. He lets her leave in peace on the condition that she does not return. Delacroix decides to kill Lindy at Faisal's command when she returns fully determined. He whacks her again, then employs exsanguination to drain all of her blood. Lindy manages to free herself from her cuffs and charges at him. Lindy rushes to murder Faisal, only to find that Justin has already done so. Justin tells her the whole truth and reveals himself to be much different from how he seemed to be. He tells Lindy that he has long wanted to murder Faisal, but that he is too powerful and untouchable. He used Lindy as a weapon to carry out his purpose. Dr. Munchin's experiments were all supported by him, and he selected Lindy for this mission. He used her emotions to manipulate her and lead her down the path of vengeance. She appears to be an outsider in order to get Faisal out of the way without being tracked. Lindy, who has been torn down by the betrayal, proceeds to attack Justin. Justin tries to stop Lindy with a vest button, but she pushes through and throws a bag of explosives at him, making it out of the building in time. Lindy waits in Dr. Munchin's office for him to betray her, preparing to kill him. Detectives Vickers and Nevins enter the office to arrest Dr. Munchin for practicing without a license and money laundering, just as she decides against it and handcuffs him. During the events, Detective Vickers and Lindy develop affections for each other, and he invites Lindy to dinner. Lindy returns to her apartment, where a lady who appears to be one of her former doctors advises her to embrace her wrath in order to truly become powerful, before igniting her voltage detonator. She offers her a job where she may put her potential and rage to good use. The film concludes with a close-up of Lindy's eyes before she says anything, hinting at the possibility of a sequel. With the audience left to speculate what might happen, it's safe to say Lindy had her happily ever after. Since Jolt just came out, it's still a little early to expect a sequel announcement, so we'll leave that to the future. And meanwhile, you guys tell us in the comments what you think of this fantastic movie.